It's Kevin Keatsman Uncanceled on 95.7 FM, KCMO Talk Radio.
Good morning, Kansas City. Welcome to Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. I'm your humble host, Kevin Keatsman, also host of the Kevin Keatsman Has Issues podcast each and every day. If you ever want to check that out, feel free. We're online at kkhasissues.com. That's pretty simple to remember. We got a fun show lined up today. Trump, it looks like, is going to win millions and millions more dollars on a lawsuit against the media. And I think I know what he's going to do with all the money that he wins from suing the fake news media, because he's just winning right and left against these people. We've got the details coming up a little bit later in the show. Also, some stunning news and ratings around Fox News, which was the big winner in cable news in April. But you won't believe what's going on with their lineup, and I don't think it can last. I think a shakeup in the order of the shows and the types of shows that they have on is coming, and I'll give you that information in the second half hour. Then we'll talk a little bit with Mark later on about, well, I'm going to ask him what the biggest fish is he's ever caught. I always like to ask him if he's ever done something. We know that he did not steal the golf cart from Minor Park this week because it's not in his garage. But we're going to talk a little fishing and boat racing. Yeah, we got a lake theme going at the end of the show. Also, Bobby Witt's hitting streak. We'll talk about that one. That's kind of fun going on. I want to spend a few minutes talking about this incident that happened over the weekend. And Pete's just been doing an unbelievable job getting guests on and talking about issues within our justice system that allow somebody to be involved in a hit and run, a cop biting incident, and just keep getting released out into the public, where eventually they kill a firefighter trying to take them to the hospital because they're bleeding. None of this makes any sense to normal people. We're talking about somebody that was either crazy or on drugs or both. And the story just keeps getting worse, because now we've learned that after she did that and they were helping Graham Hoffman, she attempted to steal the ambulance and drive away. And as we get more and more details of what unfolded in that evening, it's very apparent that we need something with firefighters and EMTs, something. And I don't know what. Listen, I'm not the expert, but we need something, whether it's tasers or handcuffs or something that these folks need to not necessarily defend themselves. I'm not going to make an argument here that firefighters and EMTs, that somebody on each job should be carrying a gun or whatever, but maybe it should be their option. I just, there's too many crazy people in the world. And I think this comes down to this, folks. I think this lady did not want to go to the hospital because she was afraid she was going to wind up in jail after the things that she had previously done, that now she's in trouble again and she doesn't want to go back to jail. And so she does what she does and tries to steal the ambulance on top of it all. They were dealing with a wild person. This is a tragic story. It's not going to go away anytime soon, because I think most of us, I think there's a connection with Graham Hoffman and 99.9% of the people in Kansas City. And that is, if we see somebody that's hurt or needs help, we all want to believe we're the people that can do it. Now, we don't choose that all as a career or as a calling in life like Graham Hoffman did. But we all have within ourselves the belief that if somebody needs us, we will help our fellow humans, whether we know them or not. A lot of us would like to think we could run into a burning house. I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know. I know you're not supposed to. I know I'm not trained to do it. Would I do it for a loved one or even my dog? Yeah. A stranger? I don't know. I think, but we'd all like to think that we'd help somebody that's in real danger. So everybody in this city is following the story because they think in some way they could have been Graham Hoffman, that they could have been a motorist driving by asking the woman, "Are you okay? Do you need some help?" And say, "We can help, call for 911 or whatever." And maybe you'd stop and maybe even get out of your car thinking, well, it's a woman that's bleeding. I'm not in any real danger here. And it could have been me or you. We all see that story that way. The response to this story has been unbelievable. There's a local screen shop printing up T-shirts for Pumper Medic House number 42. These are available online, and this is how big the firefighting community is in Kansas City, and first responder community and police community, because this is unbelievable. I didn't know of this shirt until I saw that the Kansas City Royals have ordered about 50 of these. And all of the Royals players are going to start wearing these T-shirts. They cannot wear them in the game, but they're going to wear them during batting practice. And they're going to wear them while they do interviews. And they're going to be talking about Graham Hoffman, and they're going to be supporting firefighters and first responders. And the shirts are available at Graham Hoffman Memorial Shirt.itemorder.com. Now, I know that's clunky, but if you just have a search engine and you search Graham Hoffman Memorial T-shirts, I think you'll find it there. The sales of these are crazy. They did $17,000 worth in the first hour. As of Tuesday afternoon, over $100,000 worth of these shirts have been sold, and all of the proceeds go to the family of Graham Hoffman. The folks that are making these and the people whose idea it was are Don and Joe Eddings. They have a print and screen shop business. Joe was a firefighter in Kansas City, Missouri for 27 years. This couple have kids that are firefighters or paramedics, and they have other family members as well. This is it's a family business for many people. We know that police work is a family business for many people. We know that military service is a family business for many people. It doesn't mean you own and operate it, but it's what you do. It's no different than a religious family that has a certain faith. You raise your children that way, they stay in that church. You raise your children, you're a police officer. A lot of sons and daughters want to become police officers. This is happening a big way in Kansas City, and I don't think I ever remember. These are $15 T-shirts. I mean, how many shirts are we talking about here that they've sold, that they're over $100,000 as of Tuesday afternoon? And I applaud the Royals. And it sounds like it was the Royals players. I don't know who it is yet. I haven't read which player did this. I'd almost bet that Bobby Witt is somehow involved in this, but we'll see. Bobby Witt Jr. seems to be the guy that has kind of an innate sensibility of everything going on around him and in the community and what his teammates are doing. I think he just has that it thing, but maybe it's not him. Maybe it's a player on the team whose parent was a firefighter or a paramedic or EMT or whatever. But the Royals are going to start wearing these and promoting them, and I would encourage any business listening to buy some of these, give them to your employees, spread the word. I think we need to be, at this time, in honor of Graham Hoffman, thinking about the people that are out there every day that we think, okay, well, that's nice. They help people. It's a 911 call. Somebody had a heart attack. They're going to help them, and they do all these great things. You're doing nothing but dealing with strangers every day, and you're walking in their houses, and you're on the side of busy interstates. This is not a safe job. There are people that are crazed out on drugs that are kicking and screaming and biting and scratching. You see it all. We don't think of it that way. We think of it as our interactions. When something has happened with our loved one and we call for help and they come and they're great and you know it wasn't a dangerous situation. And so we just all assume these are never dangerous situations. We think of firefighters in dangerous situations when they're fighting a fire, of which, to be honest, there really aren't that many, which is a blessing. When they do happen and they're large, it's a desperate situation. And we all pray for firefighters. But this incident seems like it could have been anybody. And Graham Hoffman was 29 years old. And I don't know how this woman is back out on the streets, but I'm listening to Pete Mundo every day because he's on it. And he's looking for answers. I heard his interview today with the Clay County prosecutor. It sounded to me like a man who didn't want to answer any questions. Now, that doesn't make him a bad person or wrong. I didn't sense that. I actually sensed from hearing him that there's something he wants to say, but feels like he can't. He talked about a form that they have 24 hours to fill out regarding every person that gets arrested or charged, and there's no box on there to check for what they think bail should be. Well, the prosecutor ought to be able to recommend that. When they've now got somebody for, let's say, biting a cop last week that's previously been in a hit and run, that's one you check the box and you put a big number on it and you say, hold him until we learn more. There's something going on here. Biting a police officer is not normal. This person had other incidents with the law. Let's hold them for a bit and do some analysis. Yes, the prosecutor should do that. Once the judge gets the paperwork, he just says, hey, this is routine. I'm doing my job. Judges have a tendency to maybe rubber stamp something and say, well, this fits this box. Here's what we do. And what I heard from the prosecutor, and this is just this is just your radio host observation of the world. I've been around a lot of businesses and a lot of people. I think we've gotten less personal in life in everything that we do. I mean everything. We talked about it yesterday with Amazon, with shopping, for crying out loud. I go to Mass with my mom. There are people, when they say, peace be with you, it's a Catholic tradition. In the middle of Mass, you shake somebody's hand, or if it's a loved one, you hug them. There are people that will not touch you. We've become that impersonal. They'll wave at you, peace be with you, but they don't want to touch you. They're still scared from COVID. We've done this to ourselves. We've freaked ourselves out in many ways. And what I was hearing when this gentleman with Pete today was describing the process for filling out the paperwork and sending it to the judge within 24 hours, it sounded to me like an office that everything is routine. It sounded like the DMV, to be honest with you. You ever go to the DMV to get your license? The people you don't want that job and I don't want that job. I'm not bad-mouthing the people that work there, and I understand why everything becomes a machine and we become disconnected with other human beings. But there's one place in our government that we cannot be detached and we cannot rubber stamp. That's with people that are arrested and charged with crimes like biting police officers. You can't just send them home. You got to use some common sense here and say, okay, this one's different. This one's a little different. We got a couple incidents in the last couple of months, and this latest one, this cop is seriously bitten by all accounts, like a hole in his arm. We have to have some checks and balances within the system where we don't just say, okay, this fits that crime. It's category X, rubber stamp, boom, $500 bond, you're out. We ought to be able to stop some of these things. And I understand that everybody that goes to work is in a routine. And the longer you've worked somewhere, the more routine it is. And many things are mundane. And I would call out to people in the prosecutor's office all over Kansas City and across both our states, Kansas and Missouri, and judges and people in the system. Nobody thinks ill of you. We're glad you're doing the jobs you can do. We know, especially the lawyers and judges, you can make more money at private practices. We know that. We know you can make more money. You're doing this for a reason. But like you would expect a doctor or someone else, there's a higher standard to what you do than what a lot of people who maybe work at the DMV do. You can get into the routine at the DMV. If you rubber stamp something and it passes on, okay, great. They got to come back and get a new tag, or this happened or that happened. It's not life and death. You're not releasing criminals out into the world. Don't fall into routines. It sounded like to me this lady just fell through some sort of a routine practice where everybody kicked it down the road. Nobody did the wrong thing. Again, it doesn't sound like anybody did the wrong thing. They were all following some sort of protocols, but not at any point did anybody ask, you know what? Should this woman be out there? What's going on with this person? Well, I understand that, there's no flight risk, right? You have to have these probable causes to detain somebody. But what do you need to get somebody in for observation, for a mental health assessment? What does it take to do that? Can that not be recommended by a prosecutor's office? Judge, we'd like to hold this person and get a mental health counselor in here to assess this person and see where they are, or drug test them, or something. Certainly there are cases that scream out a person like that needs to be checked. Not some guy who went out on a Saturday night and got drunk and pulled over in a DUI, which is a dangerous enough thing, but goes off to jail, sobers up, and they send him home with nothing on his record prior. Had a really bad night, did a really dumb thing. Probably not a danger to society. He's going to go through all kinds of driving counseling, alcohol counseling, and all that because he got a DUI. But somebody bites a cop and we don't have the same protocols? Like we treat DUI worse than biting a cop? Or hit and run? We just release you on bail? I go out and get a DUI today? You know how much I'm going to have to do? The classes I'm going to have to take? The alcohol education? Everything. What do we do with people that bite cops or do hit and runs? You're free to go. You paid your $500. You're free to go. We'll see if you're guilty or not. Then if they find you guilty months down the road, then what? Then you go through it? Seems like there's a hole in that system to me. If you want to support this cause, Graham Hoffman Memorial Shirts.itemorder.com. Just search Graham Hoffman Memorial Shirts. They're $15. They're for Pumper Medic House 42. This money goes directly to the family. Money will not take away the pain for this family. But when we feel helpless as a community like this, we feel like this is the only thing we can do. So I say support it. Uncanceled is underway. If you'd like to join the discussion, 913-408-7957. I'm Kevin Keatsman. We're back on KCMO. We're headed to the phones. We got our guy Wes joining us this morning, who's always got something thoughtful to say. Good morning, Wes. How are you, sir?
Yeah, hey, man. So this week starts out with Mundo talking about the Hoffman case, but he lets it be known, which I live in Clay County, man. I didn't know there had been 13 murders up here so far this year. Wow. I appreciate him talking about that. I appreciate you guys talking about the Hoffman incident. So this woman who allegedly did these things, that killed him, when she bit that cop, she bit him up in Staley Farms, which is a very nice area up here, okay, which really kind of shocked me. One of my big questions is, and you probably can't find this out, who paid the $1,000 bond to get her out after she had done a hit and run, after she bit a cop? I mean, what's that person's thinking? What's going on there? So,
well, I hear where you're coming from. One thing I've learned as I've gotten older is never look at somebody and question whether they have money or not. Because a lot of people with a lot of money look like they're homeless.
Well, this may be the case there.
I'll say this, Wes. I respect those people. They drive older cars.
Oh, yeah.
You don't think they have anything? You know, we got the story I was going to do today about this kid in the son in Grain Valley. Did you hear the story about the 80-year-old woman? And he moved in a couple of years ago with his girlfriend. That was his mom. He moved in with his mom, with his girlfriend, and proceeded to steal $240,000 from his mom over the course of 2 years, according to authorities. And he's going to be going away for decades. I'm going to guess Granny at 80 didn't look like she had a lot when her son and his girlfriend moved into the house. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Oh, right. And right. You never can tell. And that brings me to another point. In this day and age, and I used to drive around a lot in my job, I'd see people all the time walking along the road, man. And I know you're thinking I should stop and help this person.
It's hard, isn't it?
You never know.
It is hard. And we definitely profile and judge people, no doubt, which is why if you saw a woman that was bleeding, you'd be more likely, thank you, Wes, for the call, outstanding as always. You'd be more likely, I think, to see a woman with a bloody hand or she was bleeding or whatever and say, oh, but I got to stop and help that lady. She's alone. She's walking down the road. I got to help her. I think most people would see that and think that's the person. I'll take the chance here tonight and stop and see if I can help somebody out. But you're right. You're told at a very young age, don't pick up hitchhikers, right? That's one of the first things I learned. Very, very, one of the very first things that I learned. So it's a scary world out there, and the numbers are up, and this lady got back out, and nobody is happy about it. We come back, we'll switch up, talk a little media. It looks like Trump's going to make some more money out of a lawsuit, and some strange things happen at Fox News next on KCMO. All right, let's lighten it up a little bit here today. Let's start this segment with something kind of funny that just happened here at the radio station. My guy, Mark Delatour from bestofferkc.com, sent me a really nice card, and he's written a book as well, and he sent that to me in a magazine that they did a story on him and stuff, and his businesses. And it was really great. And I thought, well, that's really nice. And I read the card, and it says, I'm really looking forward to you come out and meeting the team. I'm like, yeah, that was 3 weeks ago I was out there meeting his team. And I looked at the postmark on this big envelope, and he paid real freight here. This is a $10 mail deal. April 2nd. It took a month.
Almost a month. Jeez.
It's unbelievable. I'm not going to bash on the post office. But they literally are the rubber stamp inventors.
John will bash on the post office with us. He'll come in here.
Man, our letter carriers, they try real hard. There's a lot of problems with the Postal Service. That seems like the easiest government agency to fix. How about we privatize it? Yes, we got companies that know how to do it. Clearly, Amazon can run the post office, or FedEx or UPS or any of them, and let those folks keep their jobs and keep doing what they do, because we appreciate them out there. and all that they do for us. All right, so it looks like Donald Trump's going to get another big win here from his lawsuit with CBS. He sued CBS for $10 billion with a B, $10 billion over deceptive editing of Kamala Harris in a 60 Minutes interview during the campaign. The lawsuit is about election interference, which is entirely different than some sort of defamation suit. You do not want to mess with election interference with a presidential election. Bad, bad, bad for CBS and Paramount, which is the parent corporation. So he sued him for $10 billion. Then it looked so bad for them through the early discovery that he doubled it in February, changed it to $20 billion. He's not going to get that, folks. And Trump's a reasonable guy. He'll settle. He likes wins. The Paramount board has now outlined what's acceptable terms to settle. Now, they've not let that known what it is, and they've started negotiating in mediation with Trump's lawyers on how to settle this thing. What I know is he didn't have nearly as good a case against George Stephanopoulos, because that was one of those defamation kind of things. And they settled for $15 million, with an M, $15 million. And Trump said, it's going to build my presidential library. Now, this one sounds like it might be more than $15 million. This is election interference. So this could be a whopper of a settlement. And when it is, I think I know what Trump's doing. I think he's going to keep suing media. I think he's going to keep winning because fake news is now provably fake news. It's not some slogan. It's provably fake news. And I think he wants to get all these wins and put it all together and build his presidential library, or at least build a massive wing called the fake news wing that is a complete museum to everything the news media were wrong about during his two presidencies, and a giant plaque that thanks them for building the presidential library with the lawsuits that he won. That is the best dish served cold right there. That would be awesome if he does that. Fox News has some interesting numbers going on. I assume our audience watches Fox News. There are challengers. Newsmax has gone public. It seems like Newsmax is doing well. They're growing. Even though we're not seeing in totality Fox News' numbers come down. News Nation has the big event tonight. You've heard Pete talking about it. I mentioned it on Monday. I can't wait to watch this. I used to like Chris Cuomo. He was on, and then he went on CNN, and he just became the most ridiculously hate-filled liberal I could ever take and did really weird things, and I didn't like him at all. And now I've watched his show some, and he seems to be playing both sides pretty fairly. He'll be critical of Republicans, but he's critical of Democrats, too. He has Bill O'Reilly and Stephen A. Smith tonight in a town hall at 8 o'clock. You can hear it right here on KCMO Talk Radio. And it's on News Nation if you want to watch it. And President Trump will be their guest at this town hall. I think he's going to appear via either Zoom or via phone call. I don't think Trump likes to do Zooms. I don't ever remember him doing one. He loves to call in on the phone. I get it. Nobody looks good on a Zoom call, right? It's impossible. So I don't think he wants to do that, but I think he's going to call in, and RFK Jr. is going to be on there. So there's all these challengers out there to Fox News, but in April of this year, the ratings are in for the whole month with Fox News, and they absolutely killed it. 13 of the top 14 cable news shows are on Fox. The only exception is Rachel Maddow's show, which came in at number 12. The rest of the shows between 13 and 25 are all MSNBC. CNN doesn't have one broadcast in the top 25. This is averages. This is the day part, the hour, or the show. Averages for the month. The highest rated news show on cable television in the entire month of April, Mark Van Sickle, is what? What show? What actual show do you think is the highest rated show?
In the month of April?
In the month of April. For the month of April. That's all 20 days. It's all averaged out over 20 days.
It's got to be NFL draft, right?
No, this is news. News only.
Oh, news only.
Yeah, news, cable news. So you've got Fox, MSNBC, CNN, News Nation, Newsmax, CNBC, there's others. I think the business channel, Fox Business, they're involved in that. CNN Headline News, all of the news channels. The number one show, we just learned that 13 of the top 14 shows are on Fox.
Fox.
So what do you think the number one show is?
I want to say, I'm hoping it's outnumbered for our gal Harris. But
No, it is The 5.
The 5, okay.
The 5, which is on at 4 o'clock Kansas City time.
Early, yeah.
Every day. Here's what's crazy about Fox News. They cannot keep their lineup. I get in trouble with my podcast listeners all the time. I've said this repeatedly. I like Laura Ingraham. I can't watch her show. I'm pretty sure if Sean Hannity was my neighbor or something, I'd like the guy. Well, I can't watch his show. He talks over his guests constantly. He doesn't ask questions. It's one list after another. He just rattles talking points off. I can't do it anymore. And I can't watch Laura. I can't. You just get shows you're like, not for me. This is nuts. At 4 o'clock on the 5, they have the number 1 rated show. Then they go to Brett Baer, which is straight news. So we understand this. Brett Baer's straight news show comes on. It's not opinion now. They lose 29% of their audience. Unbelievably, Laura Ingraham comes on after that, and it drops another 8%. She's rated lower than the straight news show for an hour, for crying out loud. Then Jesse Waters comes on, and up it goes 29% for the number 2 rated show on cable news, Jesse Waters. Then Hannity comes on, and he loses 23% of the audience. Down it goes. Plummets. Disappears. Nobody's watching Hannity. Gutfeld, who doesn't really do either straight news or there's some opinion. I think that show's completely driven by his monologue, personally. That's just me. They go back up 4% at 9 o'clock, which is a tough lift at that time of night. You're talking about 10 o'clock on the East Coast. Somehow Gutfeld raises the numbers after Hannity's on, which means Gutfeld's the biggest loser here because he has no lead-in. He's sitting there in prime time in Kansas City with no lead-in. Hannity loses his audience for him. It's sitting there. Jesse Waters has it. He can hand it off to Gutfeld. They wouldn't lose a person. But they give it to Hannity. Hannity loses a third of the audience. And then Gutfeld winds up being lower rated because you can't get the people back. They're going to shake this lineup up. And I'm not a TV critic. I don't know. I know what I like, what I don't like. And I know that if you're on long enough, people get burned out on you. People got burned out listening to me on sports radio. I get it. I understand how this works. How can they pay that money to Sean Hannity right in the middle of their lineup, and he is killing them every night? He is just flat killing them. I think he's overworked. I think the TV show looks lazy. He does 3 hours of radio every day. He's killing himself. He says he gets up early and he works out. Then he does 3 hours of radio. Then he works late into night. That show's on from 9 to 10 East Coast. What's he doing? He's got to have hundreds of millions of dollars at this point. You're trying to do everything but nothing well? That's not the way. Maybe he should concentrate either on the TV show or the radio show. It wouldn't offend me at all if he retired from one of those and said, I need to just do better on this. I don't get it. They got the numbers to prove it. And they're paying him more than they're paying anybody because he's been there forever. He's making all the dough, and he's literally killing them every night. We'd like to provide some context and information for you here at Uncanceled when we can. We know that you like media or you wouldn't be listening to radio. So we love talking about those kinds of things. They're kind of fun. One other interesting tidbit from this week that kind of fell by the wayside when it comes to media and reporting and things like that. Chuck Schumer was asked yesterday. Everybody knows Chuck Schumer was asked, well, all you say about Trump is negative things. What about the border? He's closed the border. The illegals aren't coming in anymore. Biden said it couldn't be done. He needed an act of Congress, but Trump has done it. And Schumer said, I don't believe it. I don't believe any of it. Quote, I don't trust Trump's numbers, unquote. That's what Chuck Schumer says. He refuses to admit this is how hardened they are on the left about hating Donald Trump. When something good happens, well, they don't think it's good. They want the flow to happen. They want the border open. So the root of Schumer's problem is he doesn't like that Trump has done this. Even though they will publicly say they want it done, now that it's done, they can't say, hey, that's great, because they don't want their voters to hear that. Because none of them want it to happen. So he says, I think the media is lying, and I don't trust Trump's numbers. Can you believe that? Let me tell you what the media wouldn't be doing right now. If CNN could find video of illegals pouring across the river into Texas and New Mexico and Arizona and California, if there was video of these caravans all over the place coming in by the tens of thousands, you don't think CNN would be showing that, saying Trump's a liar? Here's how you know it's true. They can't disprove it. And you know they would stop everything and go 24 hours nonstop all day, every day that Trump is lying, that the border is still wide open, and he's incompetent and he couldn't close it. They'd be doing that. How does Chuck Schumer get away with lying about media and Trump, saying he doesn't believe the numbers? This would be the easiest thing ever to disprove. Video disproves everything. and it's sitting right there. All they got to do is show us the video of the tens of thousands of people coming in, but they just can't do it. Wow. It's getting harder every day, folks. It's no wonder social media and the internet have taken off like they have. There's a whole bunch of truth tellers out there, and you know what? There's a bunch of crap out there, too. But if you want to find out what's really going on, a bunch of truth tellers and things, it's out there. There's people embedded. There's people that know things, and they put it there, and then it gets vetted, and then you get to see which media outlets ignore it when they know it's true. And right now, the liberal media outlets are ignoring that the border is closed and we are safer because of the deportations. It's just the way they work. When we come back, you're going to learn what the biggest fish ever Mark's ever caught. And then I'm going to tell you a big fish story. That's next on Uncanceled on KCMO Talk Radio. All right, so we'll wrap things up today with our friend Mark Van Sickle and a fish story. Mark, what is the biggest fish you've ever caught?
You know what? This is a funny story because I have uncles out in Washington. I was born in Seattle. I have uncles that are true fishermen. They go to, well, when they were alive, RIP, Uncles Norm and Jim.
Nice.
But they would go to Alaska every summer. They'd catch enough fish for the entire year.
From Seattle?
Yep, from Seattle. They'd go up, do their fishing every year, come back with enough for everybody for the whole entire year. They had their freezers and everything like that. And because we moved out to Kansas when I was just like, a 5-year-old kid, I never got to go on any of these fishing trips with them. So I personally have actually never gone on a fishing trip.
Okay.
I've never caught a fish.
You've never caught a fish?
Never caught a fish in my life.
You've never gone to the sports show at Bartle Hall, the trout pond, and picked out a fish?
No, I have not. I know the look on your face right now for everybody watching on Facebook Live and Twitter and everything else is shock. I still don't know how I've never gone on a fishing trip, but...
Well, you got to take the kids to the sports show sometime and go down there and catch the trout in the trout pond.
That sounds like a good time, actually.
Don't eat it. We did that with Spencer one time. We brought it home and tried to cook it. It's disgusting.
Okay.
It's awful. Plus, I don't know how to make fish. The whole thing was gross.
It's not like the salmon they catch up there in Alaska.
Right. Exactly. So a gentleman named Brian Lee Baker in Oklahoma at Grand Lake of the Cherokees, a beautiful place if there ever was one, which is northeast of Tulsa, in 2023 caught a carp. This is a big head carp, 118 pounds and 3 ounces, set the Oklahoma record.
Wow.
April 26th, what is that, 3 days ago, 4 days ago? He's back out on Grand Lake, and he catches one 118 pounds and 10 ounces. 7 ounces more, he breaks his own record.
Tops the record, baby.
The folks at Grand Lake are thrilled that he's doing this. They kill the fish. You don't throw these babies back. These are invasive. They want those big head carp out of there because they hurt the other types. So we appreciate that. That's awesome. How about some Royals news? Bobby Witt Jr., 20 games in a row. How far does it go, Mark?
I'm just rooting for him now. I think it goes to 32 and he beats Whit Merrifield.
I will take that bet. It's hard.
Yeah.
Whit Merrifield, I said this on my podcast today. George Brett had a 30-game hit streak. John looked this up last week, right? Mm-hmm. And Whit Merrifield broke that with 31 at the end of one season and the start of the next. And now we have Bobby Witt at 20-game hitting streak. For Bobby Witt and George Brett, it's way harder. It's way harder because you get walked. They take at-bats away from you. I'm not just talking about intentional walks. I'm talking about times where it's a 1-1 game in the fifth inning. There's nobody on. It's like you're nibbling around Bobby Witt. No chance you're going after him. You'll be happy to walk him, whatever you got to do. Don't let him hit a home run on you. If you notice he's not hitting home runs this year. They're not throwing him home run pitches, and he's finding a way to hit for a high average and have this hit streak. So all due respect to Whit Merrifield, I don't think Whit Merrifield ever really got walked.
Yeah, I don't think anybody was walking him, that's for sure.
Pitching around him. Tonight, the Royals play Tampa. They won last night. Noah Cameron from St. Joseph, Missouri is on the hill pitching for the Royals because Cole Reagans has a little bit of a groin issue. They're pushing him back a few days. He's not going on the IL. Noah Cameron is going to do something that very few people have ever done, and I'll be interested to hear who the last person was. He's going to make his major league debut in a minor league ballpark.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like a Mariners pitcher actually did it in Oakland or Sacramento earlier this year.
Yeah, it's going to happen a lot in Sacramento. Mm-hmm. Everybody for the A's that's making their debut will do this. So Noah Cameron's going to be in a crowded field. The A's are out of their stadium. They're playing in Sacramento at a AAA park this year while they build their new stadium in Vegas. But the Tampa Bay Rays had their stadium destroyed in the hurricane, and it's not going to get fixed. I guess they're building a new one in Tampa. So they're playing at the Yankees spring training facility in St. Pete Beach-ish or Tampa. I think St. Pete Beach advertised, but it's by the football stadium, as I recall. As I've been to the football stadium. This is a minor league stadium or the Royals are playing Tampa right now, which actually looks better than being in their crappy dome they were in.
Yeah, nobody liked that dome.
It was the worst just about stadium anywhere. Yesterday, we talked about the speedboat at Lake Havasu that went flipping into the air at 210 miles an hour. Everybody's seen the viral video, right? We've all seen the viral video? 210 miles an hour. Turns out they actually won the competition. I think it's just a top speed event. They hit top speed right before they started flying.
Well, that's good for them. I'm glad they're not hurt, seriously, right?
They are not.
Good.
It's Freedom One Racing. It's all red, white, and blue. It's America first, baby. Freedom One Racing. They won $20,000 and went straight to charity. Wounded Warrior Project is one of their charities. And now the best part. They're from Kansas City. That speedboat's from right here.
Let's go.
Ryan Ola was the captain of that boat. Is it captain? You're captaining a boat? Is that right? Or the pilot?
Yeah.
Man, I'm telling you, that was airborne long enough. He's a pilot.
He's both.
Yeah, his rank is captain. His job is to pilot the boat. They won $20,000 and they donated, so they're obviously well-to-do because I don't know what a boat like that costs, but it's a lot. Those things are very, very, very expensive. But we gotta pursue this and see if we can find Ryan maybe and get him on the broadcast. That must have been a heck of a ride. And do you like Beyonce?
I've never been a huge Beyonce fan.
She sings that Single Girls song?
Yes.
Single Ladies?
Some of her songs are catchy.
And she's trying to go country, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Flopped, right? The country part flopped?
Yep.
Cowboy Carter. Her husband, is his name Carter?
I think that's her last name.
Her last name's Carter?
Yeah.
Who's her husband? He's the really famous
Jay-Z,
guy.
yeah.
Jay-Z, what's Jay-Z's name?
I don't know his real name, but I do think it's Carter.
It's not Jay Carter.
I don't know.
Because she's married to him.
Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know. We're out over our skis. We're that boat at Lake Havasu right now. We're 70 feet in the air.
We're flying.
At 211 miles an hour, and we don't know how this is going to come down. The Cowboy Carter Tours debuts in L.A. with 5 nights in a row. The first show is not sold out.
Ooh.
Resale tickets are $20. Apparently nobody wants Cowboy Carter.
No.
They want her to play Single Ladies. Let's go. That's it for Uncanceled. The Vince Show is coming up next. Thank you for listening, as you do every day, to KCMO Talk Radio 95.7.